If you guys don't know by now, the United States government is they have allegedly collaborated with the Mexican special forces to take out a top ranking official in one of the cartels. I believe it's a CNNG, the New Generation Cartel, something like that.
In Mexico, the army has confirmed the death of one of the country's most feared drug lords, known as El Mencho, caught and killed in a dawn raid. He was killed in an operation in the town of Telpapa. The US had previously issued a $15 million reward for the capture of the co-founder and leader of the Jalisco New Generation drugs cartel. It's feared for its use of extreme violence. Violence broke out in the country as a result of his killing. Suspected members of the cartel began burning dozens of cars and trucks in the state and a neighboring state as the army moved in, possibly to try to delay the operation.
And of course, if you guys don't remember, earlier last year in 2025, Donald Trump declared the Mexican cartels to be exactly what they are. In my opinion, which is foreign terrorists, which would allow the United States the ability to actually go into Mexico and do the same thing that they did in Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, all those other places that they went into and were able to bomb pretty much without anybody checking them, essentially. And so the reason that I'm doing this video is there was a video that I made last year, and I'm gonna put it right here on the screen, about how the Mexicans have essentially violence imprinted into their blood. And again, we know that these aren't all Mexicans. I had a Mexican best friend growing up. If you guys have seen me pray over my food like this, I didn't learn that from somebody black. I learned that from a Mexican Catholic. And if you can look aside that and you can realize that whenever the Europeans said that they went to Mexico, modern day Mexico with the Aztec Empire, right? They wrote down very similar experiences or things that they seen the ancient Aztecs doing that is very similar to what you see the cartels do. What do you hear about the cartels doing today? Chopping people's heads off, dissolving them in acid, turning people into soup. They have creative methods of killing people that is just, when you see the news, you're like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, why why can't they just shoot somebody? They had to do the most gruesome, overkilling thing. And they said that it's usually based around a satanic sort of method that they have, or it's like a cult almost. And the same thing that the president of El Salvador said about the MS-13 there as well. The ancient Aztecs, if you guys have seen the movie Apocalyptico, I believe is how you pronounce it. I watched it over a decade ago. That was almost 20 years ago, where they would go to other tribes, kidnap those people, take them up to the top of the pyramid, and they would have them painted all up, and then the sun would eclipse with the moon, and then they would cut their heart out and drink the blood. And that is literally what those people were talking about they saw 500, 600 years ago, right? You hear of these Mexican cartels doing the same thing. And so I just wanted to point that out. That's not the entire point of the video, but this is why I made that video. Some people said I was being racist. I said, no, I just made a connection. Okay, well, maybe those white folks that went over there, they were telling the truth. And the reason I bring it up is because now that they've killed a cartel boss, essentially, right? One of the most wanted men in the world, the most wanted man in Mexico since El Mayo and El Chapo have been locked up, right? Or El Mayo is dead. Now, the reason that doesn't have any real weight is because if you kill the United States president, does the United States just fall apart? No, they have a second in command, which is, I don't really understand why they go around killing the leaders of these cartels rather than attacking the infrastructure that allows them to run. Like whenever they wanted to cancel Andrew Tate, what did they do? They attacked his Instagram, his Facebook, and I mean, it didn't stop him, but it did have an effect on how much reach he had. But that's not really a good example. I mean, if you wanted to get rid of an organization, you don't take the leader out. They're an organization. They have a chain of command. So they would have to go after tightening border security, which is what Donald Trump wants to do. I mean, this stuff that he's been saying that he needs to do is stuff that needs to be done. But him declaring them as foreign terrorists is spot on. I mean, you see that one of their people died. So what they do instead is they go around burning cars, shooting random people, holding people hostage, shutting down the airport, barricading things, burning airplanes, right? And so that is stuff that terrorists do, essentially. I mean, it's literally a chain of terror all across the country of Mexico. And listen, my mom went to Mexico. She told me when she was a flight attendant way back before I was born, maybe 5 or 6 years before I was born, or maybe I was a baby. I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. And she said that she literally went into a hotel. She got in a random taxi, and even people were telling her at the hotel, "Don't go over there. You know they're gonna kidnap you." This stuff has been going on in Mexico, in Latin America in general, but in Mexico, and it's about time that somebody like Donald Trump, actually, as much as you guys want to call him a racist for saying that they're rapists, drug dealers, murderers. Of course, not all Mexicans are like that. But again, there is enough of that going on, and the governments of these other countries are essentially compromised. You've seen the president of Mexico said that she was not going to use violence, or she was basically not going to do anything. It sounds like she's paid off. And so it'll be interesting to see what happens. There's also conspiracy theories saying that places like Guadalajara is going to be a smart city. The city of Tequila is going to be a smart city. And so some people think that it's related to the Hawaii and the California wildfires, where if they have a bunch of poor people in the area and they can't get them out, what they'll do is they'll create a disaster like wildfires, or they'll create a disaster in Mexico like this to essentially level out the area. And then they can move in with the good real estate and all that stuff and upgrading things. I don't think that's necessary. I think that's bullshit. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that they had to do that because, again, this kind of stuff has been going on in Mexico for a while. I don't think that they need to cause a disaster to create a smart city. Some conspiracy theories are just over the top for me. But I mean, let me know what you guys think about it. I really do believe that Donald Trump is going to do a lot of things to help a place like Mexico, to help a place like Nigeria, to even help places like Somalia that have essentially uh, either controlled their government or they've controlled too many areas in some of these countries, and the UN doesn't do shit. They don't do anything. And I'm not saying that to say that that they don't want to, but they don't really have the leverage. The UN was not created to actually solve, it wasn't created to work. It was created to solve problems, but it wasn't created to work. Because otherwise they would have done something about this a long time ago. Now, the issue about this with drug cartels is just like he claims that they're terrorists, right? The issue with terrorists is you can't get rid of them because they're an ideology. And I'm not saying a drug cartel is necessarily an ideology, but how can you tell who is and who is not a part of something? Like, I mean, yes, they can investigate and watch, but I mean, anybody can become a drug dealer or form some sort of drug organization. Historically, you could win against a war if you were using a military, if you were fighting another official military. But when you're fighting ideologies and groups of criminals, and actually can't say that because in the United States, they've been able to clean up crime, but it never goes away. But again, the point is it's out of control completely in Mexico. And I think that these next couple of weeks, I'm going to stay on top of the story to see what happens. My prayers go out to the American families, not just them, but every family that's trapped in, because remember, there's no flights in and out. There's no flights in and out of Mexico right now. So this is a very serious situation. I think this week we will be seeing a proper U.S. invasion of Mexico. Let me know what you guys think. As I said before, check out the video. And if you guys enjoyed that video, remember, we are partially monetized on this channel, not fully monetized. So if you guys want to leave a super chat, anything is appreciated. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.